Welcome to Al Jazeera. Iraq's new crackdown on sectarian militia in Baghdad seems to have done little to stop the violence. At least 9 people have been killed in bombings and shootings in various parts of the capital, less than 24 hours after Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki announced a security plan. The crackdown is seen as a huge gamble for the Prime Minister, who says he'll avoid calling on foreign troops to implement the new measures. Maliki also says that the Iraqi army will spearhead the crackdown rather than the police. Al Jazeera's John Terrett reports.
Another bloody Sunday morning in Iraq. A civil servant in the Education Ministry escaped this attempt on his life in central Baghdad. 2 of his bodyguards died.
There was an explosion in this car. 2 were killed. Everything we own has been destroyed. Our shop and all the goods.
It comes less than 24 hours after the announcement of a new military crackdown on armed militias, whatever their religion or politics. For Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki, it's not the first crackdown, but it is the first time the Iraqi army has been thrust into the spotlight ahead of the police force since the US-led invasion in 2003. The crackdown comes after 2 days of video-linked discussions with the Bush administration on how to stop Shia death squads and the Sunni rebellion. It said they talked about the need for another 9,000 troops on Baghdad streets alone. Both Mr. Maliki and President Bush know time is not on their side. The insurgency that's gripped Iraq for almost 3 years shows no sign of going away. 100 people a day are dying violent deaths still. The hope is a fresh zero-tolerance policy towards armed militia of every kind will begin to stem violence like this, also seen in Baghdad on Sunday morning. A roadside bomb targeted a police patrol in the east of the capital. The officers escaped, but 2 passers-by were killed. John Terrett, Al Jazeera.
Well, Al Jazeera Hoda Abdulhamid joins me now live in Baghdad. Hoda, what news of this new crackdown, and is it any different from all the others that we've heard about these past 3 to 4 years?
Well, Sohail, the officials here tell us the security crackdown, the plans are ready, they're being fine-tuned, but it hasn't started yet. It will be implemented in the coming days, but not yet. It probably, some people here are saying that it probably start after President Bush gives his policy speech on Iraq by the mid of next week. Now, people are wondering what is going to be the difference between this security plan and previous security plans in Baghdad. The idea of putting more troops in the capital is an idea that happened before and didn't make any difference. Officials here tell us, for one, the army is going to take the lead, not the Iraqi police. Now, the Iraqi police is accused of being infiltrated by militias, and not many civilians trust them. However, the army has a better reputation. On the other side, also officials tell us that without the help of American soldiers, they really can't do the job. They don't have enough equipment, they don't have enough training, and they really need the backup of the American soldiers to do that, even though it's the Iraqi army, we are told, that will take the lead in this operation.
We're also told the crackdown will spare no one, Hoda, including Shiite groups that are loyal to Muqtada al-Sadr. What sort of a strain is that then going to cause between the Prime Minister and Muqtada al-Sadr's group?
Well, the Muqtada al-Sadr group the Mahdi army has now been accused of being behind a lot of death squads and causing a lot of fear among really innocent civilian population here in Baghdad. Prime Minister Maliki had the support of Muqtada al-Sadr. That's who took him to power, really. But on the other side, their relationship has been strained for the past months, at least, since Prime Minister al-Maliki went to meet President Bush in Amman, and Muqtada al-Sadr pulled out of the government at that time. However, Prime Minister Maliki is now saying, and there is a realization within the government that they have to go all out on all the different militias, death squads and other armed groups that are roaming around the streets of Baghdad. People here fear, however, that a direct confrontation between the Iraqi army and the Americans on one side and the Mahdi army will not be an easy confrontation. They see the fighters of that militia will put on a big fight before giving up.
For the moment, Hoda Abdulhamid in Baghdad, thank you for joining us. Palestinian police have been deployed on the streets of Gaza on regular patrol amid tensions over proposed security changes. Hamas has responded to President Mahmoud Abbas's declaration that its executive force is illegal by announcing it will double the force from 6,000 to 12,000 members. Al-Jazeera's Noor Ode reports on President Abbas's plans.
President Mahmoud Abbas issues a decision considering the executive force formed by the interior minister of the Hamas-led government illegal, sparking a sharp political and possibly security crisis. The Interior Ministry quickly responded to the presidential decision with a strongly worded news conference.
The president's decision considering the executive force illegal and calling for its disbandment is like a green light to attack its members.
The executive force also had its response, a plan to double the number of its members to 12,000. Fatah did not waste time in offering its opinion.
The decision of the Ministry of Internal increasing the executive power sure and certainly will lead to increase the political crimes killing.
It was events at this house that sparked the developing crisis. Colonel Mohammed Ghraib was killed with 7 of his bodyguards and relatives on Wednesday after members of the executive force laid siege to the house and attacked it with grenades, rockets, and machine gun fire. This neighbor lived through the ordeal. I begged them to stop firing, but they didn't listen, she said. Hanan, the colonel's widow and mother of his 8 children, is still coping with her loss. They took a part of me. They took my heart, my soul, my life. They destroyed us. And not just that, they burned our house and didn't even leave me with a picture of him. The wounds from factional clashes remain fresh, and there is plenty of blame to go around over blood spilled and chances for calm lost. For now, ordinary Palestinians have to live with the consequences of factional differences translating into bullets rather than political debate.
Noor Ode joins me now from Gaza. And Noor, what's your assessment of chances that Mahmoud Abbas will achieve with his aims to actually lose or not allow the executive force to actually form within the Gaza area? I think we might have actually lost.
At this point, it's...
Oh, we have got you there, Noor. I do apologise. Yes. Just let us know what you think of Mahmoud Abbas's position.
At this point, I think it's too early to assess how President Mahmoud Abbas's decision will translate on the ground. Overnight, the situation in Gaza was very tense and the streets were full of masked and armed men. It was sometimes difficult to know who these armed men were or what security apparatus or faction they belonged to. But we do know that there was no room for civilians on the streets in Gaza last night. Today, probably this decision of the president will be put to the test, and it will become clearer in the hours ahead how the cabinet, the Hamas-led cabinet, will deal with the president's decision. If the Hamas-led government decides to continue or to defy that presidential decision, then we will be confronted with a situation where the 2 branches of government, the executive branch and the 2 branches basically that run the government, are going head to head, both keeping their ground and both insisting on staying with their opinion and with their decisions. And then it will be a question of whether this will be resolved politically or by force. And if force is the route that both leaders decide to take, then Gaza will be bracing itself for a lot of violence to